everyone, and welcome to the Mash&Drum Whiskey Room and What's on the Shelf Wednesday. In this series, I'll be doing quick reviews of whiskeys that you could find on the shelf, including bourbons, ryes, Irish whiskeys, and scotch. So what's on the shelf today? Johnnie Walker Black and Double Black. Now, there have been a lot of famous Johnnies over the course of history. Johnny Cash, Johnny Carson, Johnny Mathis, Johnny Bench, Johnny Unitas, but none may be more famous than Johnnie Walker, the world-famous range of blended Scotch whiskeys that grace the shelves of bars and stores all around the world. The legendary John Walker was born on July 25th, 1805 on Todrigg's Farm in Scotland. In 1819, John's father died and the family farm where little Johnny had spent the first 14 years of his life was sold. Though he was only 15, the proceeds from the sale were used to purchase a grocery store inside Kilmarnock, which is a town in Scotland not too far from its western coast. After a short time apprenticing to learn his new trade, John took over full management of his thriving business. Even though his main trade was selling groceries, over time he became well known as the go-to supplier of tea, fine wines, and spirits. He sold all kinds of alcohol, including rum, brandy, and gin, but it was his own private label whiskey that gained recognition in the region. Most shop owners of the day stocked single malts with inconsistent taste and texture. Mr. Walker, being a savvy businessman, made his whiskey through blending, giving him the ability to maintain good flavor quality in every bottle. A major flood damaged many local businesses in 1852, and reports show that his entire stock was ruined. It took almost 2 years to rebuild the business, but afterward, the popularity of his signature blend continued to grow all the way up until his death in 1857. After his death, the family business was taken over by his son Alexander. Now, Britain was at the center of the Industrial Revolution, and with the arrival of the railroad in 1843 on his side, Alexander Walker created a distribution network that shipped John's whiskeys worldwide. By 1862, sales averaged 100,000 gallons each year. Now, the first copyrighted blend, called the Old Highland Whiskey, hit the shelves in 1867. This recipe is the direct ancestor of what we know and call Johnnie Walker Black. The famous square bottle and 24-degree slanted label were introduced shortly thereafter, creating a distinctive look and reducing breakage compared to the previously used round bottles. Many historians consider Alexander the real driving force that took Johnnie Walker Scotch whiskey from hometown bestseller to a globally recognized brand. Now, Alexander had his own two sons who introduced the name and the labels called Red Label and Black Label in 1909. Around the same time, the original sketch of the sophisticated walking man was created and added to the bottles. From there, the company continued to grow to mammoth proportions, adding labels like Blue Label, Double Black, Green, Gold, Platinum, and many special editions of Johnnie Walker to the lineup. Johnnie Walker is now owned by Diageo, who owns a huge portfolio of brands, but arguably none more famous than Johnnie Walker, selling more than 20 million bottles a year. All right, so today I'll be tasting the iconic Black Label and the Double Black Label. First, the iconic Black Label. So as we found out, this was created in 1820 under the name Old Special Highland Whiskey. Johnnie Walker Black was named in 1909 as their customers had started to order their bottles by the label's color. This is a blend of over 3 dozen distilleries. The malts in the whiskey are largely comprised of peated distilleries such as Talisker, Lagavulin, and Cardew. It has a nice big 12-year-old age statement on the front, which means the youngest whiskey in here has to be at least 12 years old, so there could be some older stuff in here. This is bottled at 80 proof and retails for about 26 bucks. Let's go to the nose first. So with the mix of all these peated malts from the different distilleries, you can definitely get a mix of, I think, sherry and bourbon in here. There's definitely a hint of smoke. There's way more sweetness than I thought would be in here. There's a lot of sweetness. Picking up a lot of raisins, maybe a hint of oak, not too strong. The smoke is there, but it's not like a heavy peaked smoke. This is coming out as more of a campfire smoke a little bit more. A lot of vanilla and citrus I'm getting on the nose. You get kind of deep into it. It's funny, but I'm getting like a marshmallow, like a burnt marshmallow type aspect in here too. I'm really surprised at the sugary sweetness of this. Now, I've had some peated scotches before, and I have really noticed some of those sugary sweet flavors, but didn't expect it to come out of the Johnnie Walker Black Label. I haven't had a lot of experience with either of these two bottles, so I figured let's just pick them up. They're always on the shelf. Let's do a What's on the Shelf Wednesday with these. See if I like them. So far on the nose, I'm liking this. It's sweet, it's a little bit smoky. Obviously, it's not gonna blow you away. It's not overly complex. It's sweet and smoky at the same time. Let's go for a sip. Oh, I think I got more of the smoke on the palate. Oh, but then, there's, again, a lot of sweetness on the palate too. Caramel. Has a nice butterscotch finish on the end there. That's surprising. More raisins. Definitely getting some sherry influence in here, I think. It's very, very fruity. Way more fruity than I thought it would be. Let's go for another sip. Yeah, caramel, butterscotch, smoke. Like I said, that campfire smoke. Definitely, yeah, I'm getting a lot of like apricot, butterscotch, raisin. I know I keep saying it. It's not overly complex, but I think the balance of sweet and smoke, I could definitely understand why people go to this whiskey a lot. So let's go for another sip. For an 80 proofer, this has a little bit more bite on the finish than I thought it would. I think some of that smoke is helping out. It's kind of leaving a lingering smoke profile to it. Definitely a little bit of oak. Man, but I really like the balance of sweet and smoke on here. Again, not overly complex, really sweet, a beautiful blended whiskey. All right, let's try the Johnnie Walker Double Black now. Now, Johnnie Walker is a blended Scotch whiskey, which is made by mixing together single malt whiskeys and single grain whiskeys. The advantage of blending, as I mentioned before, that it ensures the flavor and quality of the whiskey remains the same time after time. So let's get a pour of this real quick. I think I already smell a little bit more smokiness coming out of this one. Screw tops. Now, I think blended Scotch has both good and bad reputations. I think on the good side, blended Scotch whiskeys are consistent, affordable, available. They're generally easy to sip. On the bad side, some see blended Scotch as a cheap and uninteresting type of whiskey, not a ton of flavor or finish. But whatever side of the fence you're on, you can't deny the popularity of Johnnie Walker and how many do enjoy that combo of, you know, deep, rich flavors, but also an easy to sip experience. Now, the Johnnie Walker Double Black, which still retains the standard black label style of whiskey, being a peated blended whiskey, but Double Black is different by being matured in deeply charred oak casks to intensify the smoky characteristics. Now, this is also bottled at 80 proof and retails for about 40 bucks. All right, let's go to the nose. Definitely more smoke and barrel char in this one, especially when you compare here. This one's a lot sweeter on the nose. The Double Black just has way more of an intensified smoke characteristic to it. Not overly done, but you could definitely tell a difference. Definitely more of that campfire note. But again, I'm getting a lot of sweetness in here too. Definitely more fruit. I'm still getting that raisin, maybe burnt toast with strawberry jam type aspect to it. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like, it's burnt toast with maybe some honey and raspberry jam. I'm getting a lot more honey on the nose here. There's a little bit more of a nuttiness too. There's a little bit more of a nutty characteristic that's coming through. I think it's more of an almond type aspect to it, like smoked almonds. That's it. That's gotta be it. Just, you know, convincing myself that that's exactly what it is. I like the nose on this one. I think the Johnnie Walker Black is definitely more sweet. It's probably more appealing to the masses, where if you like a smokier Scotch, the Johnnie Walker Double Black definitely brings a little bit more of that intensified smoke. So let's go for a sip. Ooh, I like that one a lot. I found that for me, that one was a bit more interesting. I like the bigger punch of smoke and oak. I'm getting more of that barrel char in there, but it's really balancing nicely with sweet, almonds. Yeah, this is like sugar dusted almonds that I'm getting on the palate. That one's really good. Go for another sip. Yeah, and this is also getting sweeter the more you sip it. It's really sweet, really inviting, easy on the palate. Again, not much of a finish. This is 80 proof, but there is a lingering smoke aspect to it, a little bit of a barrel char. But you could definitely taste the similarities here. It's really honey, really fruity, smoky, a little bit more smoke in the Double Black, but both are really good whiskeys. Yeah, I think for me, I like the Double Black a little bit more than the regular one, but after trying these, I think it's easy to see why they are so loved. Not only are they affordable, but they do offer some sweet and smoky flavors. It's really easy to sip. Now, with that said, if I'm in the mood for something with smoke, I'm probably gonna reach for my Ardbeg or a Lagavulin or a Lafroig instead of this. But for those of you out there who want something a bit more in a blended Scotch, a combination of sweet and smoke flavors without breaking the bank, super easy to find, then I could see why this is such a popular buy for both Johnnie Walker fans and for those of you out there who want to start getting into smokier Scotches. Now, this is really easy to find. Like I said, they're affordable, and like I said, they are always on the shelf. All right, guys, well, I hope you enjoyed this What's on the Shelf Wednesday as we took a look at the Johnnie Walker Black and Johnnie Walker Double Black. Hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button below. Please hit that like button. If you haven't yet, find me on Instagram and find me on Twitter. Let me know what your favorite Johnnie Walker is, what other Johnnie Walkers I should be trying. And like I always say, it's not about the whiskey, it's the people you share it with. So cheers, and I'll see you next time on What's on the Shelf Wednesday. Cheers.